Okay, so please take a comfortable seat. I know I'm backing up to my mat. Get all of my things put in place. This is the seat that you can enjoy for pranayama and for meditation. And this is a noisy jacket, so I'm going to take it off. Pardon me for the extra noise in the microphone. Thank you for being here. So please rest your hands out over your knees. Find your upright seat. You can imagine yourself to be a lighthouse, maybe on the Oregon coast, if that's where you live. But those lighthouses, whether it's a beautiful sunny day or a rain trickling sort of day or other kinds of storms, the lighthouse is there. So imagine that part of you that can act as that consistent presence, where you are a lighthouse also to yourself. So feel into the base of this lighthouse. You have the tailbone and the sitting bones. Whether you're sitting cross-legged or kneeling, you still have that particular base. And the spine rising up from there. I have this image which might not be in alignment with reality, but we're going to go with it. Let's imagine that original lighthouses, they didn't have electricity, so somebody had to be able to light the flame, to make the light at the top of the lighthouse. And to get there, there was no elevator inside this lighthouse. They were climbing the stairs in a spiral sort of staircase, like going up to the church steeple. So I'd like you to imagine that you're going from the base of the pelvis and you have to go up the vertebrae, kind of traversing one vertebrae at a time, moving up towards the place where the light is lit, and then a kind of clarity is available to the boats out on the ocean. Now, in this particular model, if you think of the torso and the spine like this lighthouse, the light that you are alighting would be up at the 6th chakra, the place where you have clear sight or clear vision. At the 5th chakra would be that place where you commit to a kind of steadiness, even if there's turbulence. That's at the 5th chakra. And down at the 4th chakra, this quality of compassion for everyone and everything without exclusion. And down at the 3rd chakra, this dedication that your purpose or your contribution is something you keep fostering. In other words, we have a place to participate in the greater good. And down at the 2nd chakra, that'd be where you're just getting ready to climb the stairs, right? To go up this lighthouse at the 2nd chakra, we have to navigate the two very strong forces of desire and aversion. Desire and aversion. Imagine you're at the stairs and you have a desire to go off and play with your friends, and you have aversion to the staircase, but you know that your duty is to climb the steps, to make the journey, to go up, to light the light at the top. So at the second chakra, we're navigating how we care for our impulses, particularly raga and dvesha, desire, clinging, grasping, aversion, resistance, hatred. And therefore, at the first chakra, we have this place of stability by being connected to our shared humanity, the tribe of which we are an expression. So start breathing now up and down the length of the spine. You can picture this inner lighthouse. You could decorate it however it comes to you, whatever your imagination does with that. And then you can bring your hands together at your heart. And this morning we'll chant the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurvubhuva Suvah. Let's do it together. Om Bhurvubhuva Suvah. Tat Savitor Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhurvubhuva Suvah. Tat Savitor Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhurvubhuva Suvah. Tat Savitor Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and place your fingers out over your kneecaps, particularly if you're sitting in Siddhasana or even Sukhasana. If you're kneeling, go ahead and put your hands around the outsides of the knees so your arms are a little bit wider. And then as you inhale, Ujjayi breath, lift your heart, your spine, open your throat, raise your gaze. And then exhale and curl your spine down and come inward as if you're doing cat pose. Inhale, roll up like cow pose. So this is an extension spine, a back bend spine. And then curl down and in to a flexion spine, a forward bend spine. Inhale to roll up at your own pace. Listen for the silence at the inhale pause. And exhale, glide down, also at your own pace. Noticing the end of the exhale also has the silence of the pause. One more time, inhale, rise up. Exhale, go downward, inward. And then roll up to your simple seat, back to your inner lighthouse. You place your hands on your shoulders, please. Sweep the elbows out wide. And as you inhale, squeeze the elbows back and your chest and heart forward. And then exhale and bring the elbows forward, bring your head and chest down. Now elbows go up, around and back. And exhale, elbows down and forward. Inhale, roll up, elbows up, wide and back. And exhale, down and forward. Twice more. Do your best to mobilize the parts of your spine and your shoulders that tend to be a little bit more limited. So you're not just relying on the places where you have mobility. Come back to your starting position, please. Hands on your shoulders. And then exhale, side bend down to your left. Inhale up to center. Exhale, side bend down to your right. Rise up to center. Once more in each direction. So again, try to mobilize where you generally don't have mobility. So don't override those places, but actually prioritize them. So exhale down to your right. And inhale up to center. Rest your hands out over your knees. Just notice the little flickers of like awakening your vitality. You could picture the lights are coming on. You would probably have to climb that spiral staircase with a light, with a lantern to go up. So you could picture you're turning on the lights. Maybe you light little lanterns all along the way up this staircase. Now we're going to do the rapid rotation where we use Kapalabhati and a strong exhale out the nose to go side to side. Let's begin. Five, four, three, two, one. Come to center. Inhale, lower, middle, and upper. Inhale up to suspension. Exhale slowly and completely. At the end of the exhale, pay attention to how you squeeze the inner belly and then relax the exhale muscles and let the next in-breath come to you. And we're going to repeat that. Place your hands on your shoulders. Let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to center. Inhale from the base upwards to the heart, and then inhale suspension. Release in your own timing, but release completely. Tone the low belly. Then deeply relax. Watch the next inhale come to you. There's a practice that we've been learning, and I'm going to review it with you now. I'm sorry I didn't bring a hair tie to class. I'm not going to go get it right now. I'm just going to push that out of the way. So the practice that we've been learning is called Viloma Pranayama, and then also exhale suspension. So Viloma Pranayama is where you inhale, pause, inhale, pause, inhale, pause in 3 sections. We're going to do it with the hands on top of the head this morning. So interlace your fingers. When you place your hands on top of your head, press up with the crown of your skull into your hands. Press the heels of the hands down against the side of your head, so you're kind of squeezing the head a little bit. And relax your shoulder blades down your back. And what we're going to do here is inhale to the first third, middle third, upper third without interruption, so we can just get used to it. So let's do that now. Using the Ujjayi breath, breathe low, middle, and then upper, and pause at the top. Now, as you go to exhale, release your hands down slowly. Remind yourself the exhale goes from the bottom to the middle to the upper. Even though your hands are coming down in front, you're not exhaling from the top down, you're exhaling from the bottom up. And then deeply relax the belly to receive an in-breath. And let's try that again without interruption. On the inhale, to be one smooth breath, but I want you to think of those 3 areas of the torso. Press the top of your head up into your hands, the heels of the hands down against your head. And let's begin. When you come to your exhale, go ahead and do that slowly, methodically. You are going to lower the hands down, but the exhale is going from the base upwards. Imagine even going through the crown of the skull. We'll do the same thing one more time, but we're going to add At the end of this exhale, when you've squeezed the belly, I'm going to ask you to relax the exhale muscles without inhaling. So that's picking up from our practice the last several days, over the last couple of weeks actually. So place your hands on top of your head. Again, we're not going to interrupt the inhale. We're just learning this technique right now. So press the top of your head up, the heels of the hands down. Slide the shoulder blades down your upper back, and then let's inhale lower, middle, and upper. And then inhale suspension. And exhale slowly. Take the exhale from the base, inward and upwards, even through the crown of the skull. As you get to the end of the exhale, deeply tone the belly muscles and then profoundly relax the exhale muscles without inhaling. Then tone the abdomen before you inhale. So I'm introducing you to parts of a technique there. Let's do as we did yesterday and rise up to standing. We're going to explore that same exhale at the end and then the relaxation. We're going to explore it in parvartta. So please rise up to your wide leg forward bend, where you can walk the hands out in front. I like to think of this as a sort of pyramid shape, because where you have your hands, where you have your 2 feet, maybe that'll be like an equilateral triangle of sorts. Reach your hips back in line with your heels. Relax the weight of your head. And let's do the ujjayi inhale. And without interruption, notice the first third of the breath, the middle, and then the upper third. And then exhale quite slowly but deliberately with increasing tone in the deep abdomen. At the end of the exhale, without inhalation, relax your exhale muscles. And then tone the belly before you inhale. And try that one more time, please. When you complete that, you can then walk your hands back towards your feet and rise up to standing. Let's go heel toe into center. And place yourself in mountain pose. Interlace your fingers, take the heels of your hands up, and side bend to your left. Root down into your right hip, from your right inner belly into your right heel. So without the hips shifting left or right, you can stay centered there. Yeah. Root into your right inner heel and the big toe. That's better, yeah. And then exhale, float yourself up. Inhale, reaching up, and then exhale over, keeping the left heel grounded, so without shifting your hips sideways. Of course, there's an inclination to shift the hips, but that's where we end up with a little escape hatch, as I call it sometimes. Press down into your left inner heel and the big toe. And then inhale, rise up. You can imagine that lighthouse within you. Place your hands on top of your head. Press up through the crown of your skull and press the heels of your hands onto your head. At the moment, this is your headstand. All right. Take the shoulder blades down your upper back. A full breath in. And then exhale, release your arms out and down. Join your hands at your heart and notice any connection you have from your heels up to the crown of your skull. From the base of your spine up to the crown of your skull. Ujjayi, inhale. Urdhva Hastasana, we are stepping in to the sun salutation. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, left toes back, and this morning, left knee down. This is called Anjane Asana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, descend. Touch the floor lightly at first, and then inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale in your dog pose. And exhale, left foot forward and right knee down. Inhale, Anjane Asana. And exhale, at first touch the floor lightly. And then inhale, plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana onto your stomach. Point the toes, please. And inhale, roll up Bhujangasana. Lift the heart. Exhale, give a little squeeze of the shoulder blades towards your spine, the heart forward. Inhale, press down, roll your heart up, Bhujangasana. Exhale, squeeze your shoulders back. Once more. Inhale, press down, rise up with the heart. And this time, exhale, squeeze the shoulders back and let yourself roll down. Curl your toes under. Inhale, press up to plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog pose. Enjoy a full inhalation in your dog pose. And just take notice when you're in dog. We'll stay for a few breath cycles. What now is the experience of your inhale, lower, middle, and upper? It's not that you're dividing it, but I want you to sense, how does the breath move geographically? Remember that your practice is inward and elegant. That's what's going to develop these internal, subtle capacities and realizations during your practice. With an exhale, step your awkward foot forward first, and then the second foot forward. Come to Uttanasana. Inhale, glide your heart forward. Bend your knees, sit down with the lower version, the lower hemisphere of chair pose, and then inhale your arms up to chair pose. Exhale, push down, rise up, upward hands. Inhale, open your chest, your heart, your throat. And exhale, Anjali Mudra. So you could imagine the spiral staircase going up the spine, up the chakras. The lights are turning on. You're lighting them with your lantern. Same thing with a little bit more rajas. Rajas means a little bit more energy, a little more zest. Okay, so inhale, chair, rising, descending, forward, left toes and knee back, rising, Asana, descending, inhale, plank, exhale, downward dog, inhale, dog pose, exhale, left foot forward, right knee down, inhale, Asana, exhale, descend, inhale, plank, exhale, downward dog, inhale, plank, chaturanga, cobra pose, inhale, exhale, squeeze the upper back, cobra pose, inhale, exhale, squeeze, inhale, up, cobra pose, and exhale, squeeze the shoulders back as you roll down. Curl the toes under, inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog pose. Breathe in. Exhale, awkward foot forward, second foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, heart forward. Bend your knees. Inhale, raise the arms, chair pose. Exhale, push down to go up. Inhale to open. Exhale to center. Stand really still. Okay, please take 2 blocks to place on the floor. We're going to move into a series of twisting poses, and I'm going to make some variations with how you use. So put the 2 blocks more narrow and step your feet as wide as the yoga mat. Please bend your knees and then take your left toes back to the wide side of the mat so that your left foot has a little angle back there like Virabhadrasana 1 would have. And the right foot can be parallel to the front edge of your mat. With the feet as wide as your mat, try keeping your hips centered. So the right outer hip has to be toned enough for that. And as you reach back through the left inner thigh to your left heel, think of actually having the pubic bone, the spine, that's what's centered down the midline of your yoga mat. And keeping your right heel grounded, you may come down to your forearms. If that's too low to the floor for you, you can put the blocks up on the tall setting. That's an option. You could also stack the blocks so you have one, let's say 1 flat and 1 medium. Some people appreciate that. And you can also keep the blocks on the medium setting as we just had them. Your decision should suit your body so that your pranayama doesn't feel dysregulated. Now, keeping the right hip centered, place your left forearm across the blocks to hold your right ankle and take your right hand to your right knee and add a twist to your right. Reach back through the left inner thigh into your inner heel. There is going to be a temptation for the right hip to sashay to the right. So keeping that in your awareness, hug your right hip to center and twist one more time to your right. And then exhale to release, left hand to its block, right hand to its block. Pick up the right foot and step it back to the wide side of your yoga mat. So that's a narrow hands plank pose, wide feet plank pose. Breathe in. Take yourself back to downward dog pose. Your hands are more narrow than usual. And the feet are wide. Now let's take the left foot and bring it forward to the outside edge of your mat and pivot your right heel so it's down on the floor, like Virabhadrasana 1. Okay, hug the left outer hip to center. And you can choose to come down to your forearms on the blocks on any height block that is stable for you and feels like the right height for you to keep your hips in integrity. Notice the left outer hip, the temptation there of the escape hatch. Reach back from your upper inner right thigh into your right heel. And then crossing your right forearm over the blocks, hold onto your left ankle or shin. Take your left hand up to your left knee and add your twist to the left. If you picture that spiral staircase, of course you have to use your imagination. Now your staircase is horizontal to the floor, but go with your imagination and picture where along that spiral staircase does the breath move easily? Where do the vertebrae rotate with ease? Where are there difficulties? Reach into your right inner thigh to your inner heel. Keeping the back leg steady, place your right hand on its block, left hand on its block. So separate the blocks if you need to. And now with the hands narrow, take the left foot back so it's a wide-footed plank pose. Your hands are a little closer than shoulder width. Reach back, downward facing dog pose as a variation. And then step your right foot forward to the outside edge of the blocks. Pivot your left heel down, and this time straighten your right leg. So when you straighten it, you're going to have the knee is straight, but if your hips are centered on the midline of the mat, your right leg's going to go a little off to the right. The left leg goes a little bit back to the left. And keeping the legs stable, you can again choose to come down to your forearms or raise the blocks high enough just to support your hands if that's what your hamstrings are needing. You can bow the weight of the head if you like. Energize your legs. They represent the base. Remember, the base of the spine, so the pelvic floor region, is the first chakra. Right now, your legs are directing that base, like your tailbone, your sitting bones, your pubic bones. And the base represents also your connection to the tribe, to the ecology as well. Let's come up to the fingertips on the block. So your torso is going to be either horizontal to the floor or a little bit higher than horizontal. Press into your right fingertips and begin turning your pelvis. So your left hip's going to go back. Rotate the pelvis, but not yet the torso or the legs. So think of lengthening from your right big toe, right inner heel, up the inseam of your right leg, across the pubic bone to the left outer hip. And then make your right arm stronger than your left and rotate your low belly, mid belly, the upper belly, your heart, your shoulders. Raise your left arm, turn your gaze. This is a variation on triangle pose. You're keeping the base very steady. The second chakra is where we have to resist the wanderings of grasping and aversion. So you need some tone across the low belly. The third chakra is where we remember that we have a contribution to make, some offering to the greater good. Fourth chakra, a sense of compassion for everything and everyone. And the fifth chakra is where we commit to trying to be steady even when there's turbulence. And the sixth chakra, a place of clarity and vision. And now as you exhale, I'm going to ask you to come down slowly and be thoughtful that we're going to switch the twist. So place your left hand where your right hand has been. Place your right hand on your sacrum. And make the twist first by rooting down through the strength of your left arm. So this twist is more limited by the structure of the pose, but see if you can find the pelvic floor and then the second chakra, the deep inner belly, somewhere near to your bladder and your sacrum. And then the upper belly near the solar plexus. And then your heart. You're climbing up the spiral staircase. Collarbones, throat, the place between the eyebrows, the crown of the skull. And you may choose to raise your right arm. And then let's fold this one down. So that was a variation on parvrtta, trikonasana. Place your hands firmly on the two blocks. Use the strength of your left leg as you step your right foot back to a wide-footed plank pose. And then a wide-footed downward dog pose. Now bring the left foot forward to the outside edge of your mat. Pivot the right heel slightly in and straighten your left leg. So this whole line has integrity to it from the toes to the ankle, up your shin, your thigh, to the outer hip, to the sacrum, down the other side, right outer hip, right outer heel. And you may come down. So good morning to your hamstrings and the rest of you. Notice what your breath is doing here, like geographically. Do you have access to the first, middle, and upper thirds of the breath? When you're ready to rise up to your fingertips on your blocks, so your torso is at least horizontal or a little higher if need be. And before moving the torso and the arms, slide your right hip back. So I want you to lengthen from your left big toe to the inner heel, up the inseam of your left leg, across the pubic bones and to the right outer hip, and down to the right outer heel. And then begin to rotate from the lower belly. Strengthen your left arm. Turn the low belly and then the mid belly, upper belly, so you're at the solar plexus. Rotate through your heart, your collarbones. You may raise your right arm. You can turn the head and the neck. And so try to sense if someone actually were climbing the spiral staircase of this lighthouse within you. How's it going? Are there places that need to be relit? Don't forget about the base, so the kneecap should not go to Shavasana. We're going to exhale and lower the right hand down, and remind yourself you're going to trade the right hand for where the left hand was. So that means you're bringing it across, right? So now the sacrum is more level to the floor. Place your left hand on your sacrum and press firmly down with the strength of your right arm. See if you can move the inner belly while keeping your legs stable. And the upper belly, perhaps your heart, your collarbones, your throat, your eyes. And keeping the legs really stable, use your exhale to come down and place your hands on these slightly more narrow blocks and step your left leg back to a wide-footed plank pose. And then downward dog pose. And now come forward so that you can touch your knees down. Take one block to sit on in Vajrasana. So rest back onto your sitting bones. And imagine the inner ascent, the image of the lighthouse and that spiral staircase that I've given you. Imagine the inner ascent. And please keep your 2 blocks at the ready and lie on your back with your knees bent. Please do not put a blanket under your head. So the blocks are going to be like a little triangle, like this. Lift your hips up, please. And place the blocks on the sides of the sacrum. My hope is that you can pick up the knees and thighs, and the blocks will be stable. So you could check that. And then touch your feet down. Tuck the shoulder blades under like we were doing that squeeze in cobra pose. So this is a supported bridge pose. Press the shoulders firmly down. With your heart lifted, let your breathing and your mind settle. And then so long as the chest does not sink or collapse, you could take the legs up to candlestick pose, also called supported shoulder stand. So in this case, we have the upper chest and shoulders, still practicing Setu Bandhasana, the bridge pose. The legs going up to supported shoulder stand or candlestick pose, that is optional. It should not feel like a strain. Mostly what we're doing here is having the circulation go from the feet down towards the pelvis and then back towards the heart. So if your hamstrings are problematic, you can bend the knees so that there is a little waterfall action going from the feet through the legs back to the pelvis. And keeping your upper chest and shoulders secure in bridge pose, please touch your toes down, touch your heels down, and then lift your hips off of the two blocks. So this becomes an active version of bridge pose. Tuck each shoulder under. You can interlace your fingers if you like. And then start to lower your hips down while keeping the spine in a back bend. Place your palms face down. If possible, the palms are touching each other. Stretch the legs out straight. So you have your palms and forearms and elbows on the floor. Lift your chest and your heart to come to fish pose. Press the elbows firmly down. Press your hips down onto the back of your hands. And then slide down. Release your hands. And this morning, as you come to your Shavasana, reach for a blanket to place over your eyes and your ears. Like this. We call this a pratyahara blanket because it takes the senses inward. So bring your eyes down to the base of the lighthouse. Bring the eyes down into the lower abdomen and even to the tailbone, the sitting bones. Let the mind go deeply down. Imagine you've descended the spiral staircase And you're right now resting in the simplicity. So allow the pelvis and the legs to start getting heavier as the mind becomes more inward. Welcome this rest to deeply permeate as you continue resting. Let there be an inner sense of going more deeply. The legs can get heavier, more grounded. The mind even more still. Remind yourself that the mind needs this renewal. It does not need to do thinking nor planning. Only renewal. In the effort, then comes the ease. All of the movement returns to stillness. Actions return to reflections. Welcome your mind to deeply rest as the body gets heavier. yourself. No need for thinking, no need for planning. Right now you're dedicated to renewal, replenish. Continue welcoming your mind. Drop down and down. The mind comes back down like this to a place of grounding. You want to have an inner memory. In these last moments of Shavasana, trying to get a felt sense of how you've returned to the place you returned. Sort of inner replenished, connected you. Lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees. Just roll to your side. Return back up to sitting. When you rise up to sit, I'm going to join you where you can see me a little better for this last pranayama that we will do. So I'll shift my camera. Oh, thanks, Dennis. Okay. So while you're sitting upright now, and whatever your meditation seat is, first rise up with just complete simplicity to notice what is happening. What can you be present to? Now we're going to practice a simple pranayama. It's building on what you have been doing. So please interlace your fingers. Press your hands on top of your head. Simple does not mean easy. So concentrate. I'm going to have you press up through the crown of the skull into your hands. Press your hands down on the sides of your head. Bring your shoulder blades down your back. And then let's inhale first, middle, and upper thirds without interruption. We're going up to inhale suspension. During inhale suspension, lift the inner belly in and up to brighten the chest and the heart. Bring your chin down and in, increasing the pressure in the heart. Reach up through the crown of your skull. Release those pressure centers, and as you exhale out through the nose, lower your hands down, slowly, slowly, while the breath is going from the base upwards. At the end of a strong and complete exhale, without inhalation, deeply relax the exhale muscles. Then tone the belly before you inhale. Exhale and relax the mind. Now we're going to repeat, and this time you're going to be adding a practice that you were learning in January. We're going to pick it up again this morning. It'll be at the end of the exhale. Okay, so let's inhale lower, middle, and upper, up to inhale suspension. Now begin to exhale and lower the hands down so the exhale is steady, consistent, and smooth. At the end of the exhale, without inhaling, you're going to relax the belly muscles completely and then make a pretend inhalation without the breath coming in. Then release the pretend inhalation, tone the belly. Inhale through your nose. That pretend inhalation is called Urianabanda, and it picks up a myofascial pathway that I'm hoping that you'll connect with. That myofascial pathway from the pelvic floor, up the inner body. You can feel it up into the throat, the hollow of the throat, and then energetically even up to the crown of the skull. We'll do it one more time and then we'll sit in quiet together. Begin with your inhale, please. Go to your exhale when you need to, making it a complete and consistent exhale. And then Urianabanda. Release the bandhas before you inhale. And sit quietly and see if you can sense the lights hopefully are turned on in the lighthouse.
And please bring your hands together at your heart. First chakra, our connection to the tribe and to the ecology. Second chakra, we pay attention to the forces of desire and aversion. We don't let them pull us away. Third chakra, prepare ourselves for our contribution to the greater good. Fourth chakra, compassion for everyone and everything. Fifth chakra, our ability to be steady even when there's turbulence. And sixth chakra, where we light the light in the lighthouse, so we have clear vision. Seventh chakra, our connection to the cosmos, to all that is, and all that has been, and all that will be. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. Namaste. Yeah, my microphone is on my phone right now. Yeah. I did that, Dennis, because the other microphone is going to pick up the neighbors repairing their garage. Yeah. It's echoing. Does it still echo? It's okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, there's some repairs going on in the neighborhood. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, may your lighthouse be steady. Others are relying on it, I imagine, because I know who you are and you're here on the path of yoga. Is the other microphone still on, Dennis? Yeah, so in any case, others are going to be relying on you having had your lighthouse renewed, recalibrated, repaired. So knowing that, we have also to remember that we've been here with each other, that we aren't a single lighthouse in a massive turbulent storm of life. You also have your companion lighthouses. Okay. Thank you all very much. I'll go see how the neighborhood is now, what is needed, who has what resources to help each other. Okay, enjoy your day.